started with our program. Here with the t-shirts, the whole program, you'll be able to get your t-shirts and buttons throughout the day. So if you could make your way to some seats, we'd like to get the program started. Warren County Career Center. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, would you please rise for the Springboro High School Color Guard, remain standing for the singing of the National Anthem by Taylor Campbell, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance performed by our Learning On preschoolers. You may be seated at this time. We got some songs here from preschool. Good morning. My name is Ron Cordy, and I'm the director of Warren County Career Center main campus. Thank you for taking the time to come and celebrate our veterans. I'd like to also thank our preschool learning lab for taking the time on their day off to come in, do the pledge, and sing for us. A special thank you goes out to Robin Kiley from Stand to Serve, who helped organize this and made sure the word got out that we switched from November 11th to November 8th to celebrate our veterans. So thank you very much, Robin. Truly appreciate your service and efforts. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce Warren County Career Center Broden Bingle from Waynesville High School to give you some words of wisdom.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brody Bingle, and I'm a senior here at the Warren County Career Center. Today, we gather to honor and celebrate the extraordinary men and women who have served our country. On this Veterans Day, we stand united in gratitude for your sacrifices, your courage, and your unwavering commitment to protect our freedoms. Each of you has answered a call, one that required immense courage and sacrifice. You've faced challenges that many of us can only imagine. You've done so with resilience and honor. Whether you served in the heat of battle, the quiet of the post, or in a support role, your dedication has made a profound impact on our nation. As we reflect on the stories of valor and heroism, let us remember that your service goes beyond the uniform. It is woven into the fabric of our community and lives. It is in the quiet moments of reflection, in the stories shared with loved ones, and in the legacy of freedom that you have fought to secure. Let us remember that the true spirit of Veterans Day is not just to commemorate the past, but to inspire future generations to cherish and uphold the values for which you fought. Together, we can ensure that your legacy lives on. As for the men and women like myself, who are in the process of joining the armed forces, there is a legacy and a standard to uphold. The legacy that was given life during the Revolutionary War, and the standard that will live on for many years to come. So understand that we must prepare ourselves for the uncertainty of what we might experience during our service, but also understand that we are fighting for these United States and the freedoms that they hold. As for our veterans, you do not truly understand how appreciative and grateful we are for your service, just as we do not understand the amount of courage and sacrifice it takes to answer the call. On this Veterans Day, we show our patriotism and gratitude towards the men and women, both living and past, who swore an oath to preserve and protect the Constitution of the United States of America and the freedoms within it. Thank you. At this time, it is my honor to introduce Mr. Dennis Kearns, who served honorably with the U.S. Army in the Vietnam War and is a founding member of the Veterans Social Command, a local organization made of veterans serving veterans, nearing 1,000 veterans served.
How's everybody doing? I want to thank everybody for being here. As a veteran, as I was pulling in this morning, one of my compadres from the Veterans Social Command was in front of me, and on the back of his truck said, "I'm not a hero, but I've walked with many." I would like at this time for all the Veterans Social Command members and their spouses, please rise. Pat Allen, you're included in that because you're a member of our group. Thank you very much, guys. It's appreciated that you're here. It makes me humbled that I can get this many people out here from my group to help celebrate Veterans Day. So, thank you, guys. And I would be remiss if I didn't introduce my lovely lady, Judith. She's been with me for 53 years. There's a little story that goes along with that. I'm going to ad-lib here a little bit. I was in Vietnam in 1969 and 1970. It came about December the 15th. I got a nice Christmas card from my best friend's little sister. I hadn't seen his sister for probably 5 years. She was in the 8th or 9th grade, and got a Christmas card from her, so I said, well, I'll write back and thank her for that. So we ended up being pen pals, and we wrote back and forth the rest of the time I was there. She became my best friend, my spouse. Couldn't believe when I came back from Vietnam She had grown up. But anyway, I love you, babe. She's what keeps me going. She's what has sent me through my PTSD day after day. So anyway, I'll get on with the rest of what I'm supposed to be speaking about. Thank you, Robin, for helping me with this. One of the things we have to realize in our daily life is we're all part of Warren County. I was born in a farmhouse
On Factory Road in
Springboro, April 24th, 1949. My family has been in Warren County since Jeremiah Morrow came here in 1795. He is a fifth generation back great uncle of mine. So I've got connections with Warren County.
I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. So thank you all for being here as Warren Countyans. I think the one
thing that I had to bring up was I played basketball in Springboro, which in 1965 I was a sophomore
at Springboro High School. We went to the state tournament and we lost in a final game. But we were welcomed back in Warren County like heroes. I thought we would have won, but we didn't. That's part of what we do in life. There are some times we win, there's other times we lose. But we have to get back up and fight for what we believe in. So anyway, after graduating from Springboro in 1967, I went to Cumberland College in Kentucky. And wanted to play basketball, but my left knee got blown out. I didn't feel like I was really wanting to be a college student. All these people with the Warren County Career Center, you're important to our
whole being of what we are. There is always a job for you in the military. I don't care whether you're a cook, a supply person, a transportation person, a military police. There's always a place for you in our military, and you can be part of what makes America great. My father spent 3 years in Italy, got injured. He was actually in a Jeep that got hit by a landmine and broke his back in 3 places. He spent 18 weeks in a body cast. He came home and never really said much about what he went through as a patient in Italy. Never got to come home. Stayed there the whole entire time. Ended up transporting a lot of prisoners of war in World War II. My oldest brother, he lives now in California, but he went to Vietnam first in 1964, 65. He was one of the computer guys that started the actual computer bombing. He was a very, very dedicated airman, and I'm very proud of him. So when my draft number came up, I basically was working at home and ended up that I got drafted. April 9th, I was sent to Fort Dix, New Jersey for my 8 weeks of training there in basic training. And after that, I went for 8 weeks at my AIT, which was at Fort Polk, Louisiana. Fort Polk, Louisiana was basically the training ground for Vietnam. It was hot, it was muggy, a lot of spiders, bugs, rats, a little bit of everything. But I survived that. There's a lot of things that we survive in life that makes us better people. That's why I'm here today. When I got to Vietnam, I was an ammo and supply specialist, which at the time there was no place in our company for a supply or ammo specialist. So my sergeant says, "Private, do you know how to swim?" I thought, man, am I going to have to swim home or something? Biggest thing was I was recruited to be a lifeguard on the South China Sea. It's not like you see on China Beach or anything. There was no women. It was all guys. And what we did was we helped the guys out in the field come back to the rear area for rest and relaxation. They could have a beach. We fixed them steaks. They had all the beer they wanted to drink, which made my job as a lifeguard pretty special. Mainly because we had to get those drunken sailors and everybody else out of the ocean and bring them back and make sure that they were safe. Part of your responsibility is doing what you got to do. So, anyway, after about 8 weeks, monsoon season came to Vietnam. We went from 115 degrees when I got there with 100% humidity, and after 8 weeks, basically it was 65 degrees with 100% humidity. It's cold, very cold. Anyway, I ended up, they sent me to a forward support base, LZ Professional. I have to explain, forward support base basically is LZ, or landing zone. It has a whole complement of soldiers on it. And in supply and ammo, I was in charge of basically getting them food, uniforms, all of their ammunition. So it was a full-time job, sometimes 20 hours a day, just keeping supplies to everybody I could. Part of my job as being a soldier was helping everybody else. So you become a team player, which is what I do right now with the Veteran Social Command. At Fort LZ Professional, it had been there for probably about 3 years. And like any other jungle place, there's a lot of rats, snakes, bugs, and you had to deal with it. But then in 1970, in April, they wanted to set up a new forward support base, LZ Marianne. If you never heard of LZ Marianne, I can give you a little bit of knowledge about that. If you ever want a book about what you go through, it's called Sappers in the Wire, and it's by Keith Nolan. Gives you a little bit of what happened on LZ Marianne, because this is the life and death of Firebase Marianne. I was there probably about 6 months until August, when I was in the ammo bunker, and I was pretty much in charge of getting supplies in. So there was Chinook helicopters, and there was Sikoris, Skylift cranes that would come in with the big artillery and everything, which could lift about 25,000 pounds. And on the morning of August 29th, I was getting my inventory for what I did in getting all my supplies, and I had a Chinook helicopter coming in, and there was another noise, which was one of the skylifts. So basically I just said, well, I'll get my last box of grenades and get them put in my place where I know I'll supply ammunition. About that time, things started creaking, and one was coming from the northeast, the other was coming from the southwest, and basically scissored my ammo bunker, which collapsed on me. Last thing I remember was I got hit in the back with a beam. They were 12 by 12 beams that were supporting landing mat, plus sandbags on top of that, so a lot of weight. But I almost lost 8 fingers. Ended up that all I saw was one light to my right, and I could actually start digging towards, see if I could get out of this dark place, because it was totally dark. Ended up after about 20 minutes, I got
out of the bunker, and had to walk about 300 yards to the aid station. When I got to the aid station, the medic there was a new guy in Vietnam. He said, "Oh, I'll get this all fixed up." So he started scrubbing my hands to try to clean up the dirt and everything, because I didn't realize how much I was bleeding. That all the skin on my fingernails were gone, and I didn't realize how much I was bleeding.
But digging in dirt, it became mud and it became plastered, and it stopped the bleeding. Good things come out of things that you don't realize you're going to have to go through. Anyway, went to the aid station. They said, "Well, this is your 351st day in country. You're ready to go home on the DROS. We're going to medevac you out, and you'll probably go to Hospital 249 in Japan," which is where I went. I spent 13 days there with skin grafts and sewing my fingers up. They gave me a lot of steroids. Didn't know what steroid was back then, but it hurt so bad with my fingernails actually growing out. A lot of pain. But anyway, after 13 days in Hospital 249 in Japan, I was put on a C-130 and headed for home. Out of that 13 days, I met an awful lot of guys that were, because I was in an amputee ward. A lot of good guys that lost arms, legs. Probably the worst things you could think about was seeing your fellow soldiers without arms and legs, in wheelchairs, on gurneys. So the 11-hour flight back to Travis Air Force Base was really bad, because a lot of groaning, a lot of pain the guys were going through. I felt like, I really shouldn't have been there, but I was part of the group. Anyway, got to Travis Air Force Base, went from the actual military side to the civilian side to get an air flight back to home. And when we got to Travis, I was helping a brother named Richard. I can't remember what his last name was. He had no arms and no legs. He was in a gurney that was about 3 foot long. And I could push with my hands, but I helped him go through the gate, got about halfway through it, and all of a sudden, his white sheet that was covering most of his body started turning with red spots. Our country had deserted our Vietnam veterans. They were throwing rotten tomatoes at us. And this was an amputee group. It's hard to believe that our own citizens would do that to us. Luckily, our people in this United States have started helping our Iraq and Afghanistan vets come back with honor that we didn't get. And every time you walk up to someone that's got a hat on, shows their veterans' colors, please say thank you to them, especially when you got white hair or no hair. We've served our time, but we're proud to be here. I'm just so glad that I can be here and represent Veterans Social Command. I know in our group, one of the things that we do is we help widows and soldiers lost their spouse. We actually give out wind chimes, because one of the things we did, we gave a wind chime to one of our ladies, and she said it's amazing how much the twinkling of that little chime reminds me of my husband and all the good times we had. So we do that to all of our widows and even some of our vets that have lost their spouses. Another thing we've done, you've seen a couple people come in with service dogs. We have now come together with a lady who trains German Shepherd dogs, and she's supporting our PTS guys that need a service dog. It's something we keep adding to what we do. We're doing the right things for the right reasons. Every day, every Thursday at 2 o'clock in Trenton, Ohio, we actually have a meeting, and we get anywhere from 60 to 100 people on a Tuesday afternoon at 2 o'clock. And people can't understand that we can gather so many people, so many veterans in one place every week. But we help guys, soldiers, sailors, Marines, that don't know how to fill out a form. They don't know what form to find out. If they've got some kind of disability, they don't know where to look. I know the veteran service officers do a good job. We thank them for what they do. A lot of veterans have been treated, especially Vietnam vets, poorly enough that we don't trust the government. And a government entity puts up a red flag for us. What we try to do at Veterans Social Command is become part of their family, make them part of us, and we know what they're going through. But we have guys that help them fill out the forms. Not saying we're not smart to fill out the forms ourselves, but we try to help them with little intricacies that we know will help them get disability. In 2012, Veterans Social Command was 12 guys in a 2-car garage. That's when I came in. They actually had another group that started in 2006 or 2007 in a church in Monroe. And basically, they started what we picked up on 2012 and added a lot of things to them. But anyway, as of last week, we had 972 members. We've only lost 64 of our members to death. Biggest thing is we've got suicide prevention in place. We've got a chaplain that helps out with that. But we've had 0 suicides in our group. No matter else what we do, if we can save the lives of our fellow soldiers, sailors, Marines, Air Corps, that's what we're there for, to help everyone we can. And if you ever have a problem, I know we've got all the group over here that is from Veterans Social Command. I'm sure there's plenty of our business cards that we actually hand out. And if you want to see some of us, please see us after the meeting. Again, thank you all for being here, giving me the opportunity to speak to you as a fellow Warren Countyan, a fellow soldier, and a regular citizen. I thank you all for being here. You have a great day.
There's a set of pants to go with it.
Is that a large?
Just see me afterwards. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure once again to bring Taylor Campbell to the stage. She's going to sing American Beautiful. Just so you know, this young lady is a Lebanon junior high student, and she's here with us today to sing for us. Come on up, Taylor.
For purple mountain
At this time, we're getting ready to start breakfast, and when we release you for breakfast, you can also go get T-shirts and buttons that our graphic arts program has done. Our culinary program is getting ready for you. But before we do that, I wanted to introduce one more person to kind of give closing remarks and send you off to breakfast. The great thing about this is I get to work with this gentleman on a day-to-day basis. I started here in June. My first day on the job, I got a text message from this guy, and he said, "Hey, I'm here for you, whatever you need." And truly, he has been. I did not know at that time he was a veteran, but it was kind of clear, like, there's something different about him. He is our SRO. He's a sheriff here in Warren County. He's a great man, and I get to work with him on a daily basis. I'd like to introduce Mr. Ron Smith.
Good morning, everyone. When I joined the Marine Corps in 1995, I was 19 years old, and I was looking for some direction in my life. I just finished my first year at the University of Dayton. When I say finished, I meant failed out, and I really needed some kind of direction. So I went and met with several recruiters, never really considered the military. The last recruiter I met with, Staff Sergeant Esterly, he was a Marine recruiter at the time. I never considered the Marines. My father had been in the Navy in World War II, but I didn't really consider the military as an option. My dad, like many of the greatest generation, didn't talk about his service, and he and I didn't have a great relationship to begin with. I do remember some stories he would tell me. He was in the Navy, he was in the Atlantic Theater during World War II, and he would talk about times that they would go without resupply. One time they did get resupplied, and they got a bunch of bananas. Ton of bananas. And he'd tell the story about eating so many bananas that he got sick. And now that I think about it, I never saw him eat a banana. So, but he would always laugh about that. That's one of the good memories I had about my dad. When I went and met with the Marine Corps recruiter, they lay out these little tags. They call them benefit tags. And on the tags, they have something different printed on those, and they want you to pick out what's most important to you. Some of the tags say things like educational opportunities, or technical skills, or travel and adventure. The one that stood out to me was pride of belonging. And that's something that stuck with me the rest of my life. I remember that tag and I'll never forget it. During my enlistment, I was fortunate to work with, train, and operate with service members from the other branches. And I look back on those experiences and I remember how impressive it was for all of us to come together and work toward one common goal: accomplish the mission. I didn't realize it at the time, but I quickly discovered that we train, work, and fight for one another. The Marine Corps has a common phrase that we use to prioritize our belief system: God, country, and Corps. But the reality of it is, we did it for one another. We did it so we didn't let the person to our left and our right down. And I'm sure most of you here feel the same way. Failure was not an option because of that. I've been blessed with a life of service and to be able to help others who need it. Today on this Veterans Day, I want to thank you all for what you sacrificed for this great country, its citizens, and our proud service members. So, on behalf of our Marines, happy early birthday, 249th coming up on Sunday. There we go, yep. And happy Veterans Day to everyone else here. I appreciate what you've done for us. I want to give some thank yous for the Warren County Career Center and who made this possible. Thank you to the Welding Lab for the ornaments. Thank you to the Early Childhood Education Lab for painting the ornaments and the thank yous. Thank you to the Graphic Arts Lab for the windows and the posters. They decorated the windows out front. Thank you to the Criminal Justice Lab for the parking and the greeters. Thank you for the Culinary Lab for the breakfast. Thank you to the Digital Media Arts Lab for posters, videos, and the live streaming that we're doing right now. And thank you to the maintenance and other staff who have helped set up and make this possible. I'm lucky to be up here at the Warren County Career Center as the school resource officer, and I'm so fortunate to be here with the Warren County Sheriff's Office. So thank you all. I think we're going to release for breakfast now. Feel free to help yourself to breakfast, and we have the t-shirts back there, and then you can take any of the things on the table as well. Thank you all.